If you haven't heard yet, Lomography just released a new film stock this summer. I love Lomography's philosophy when it comes to making new products. So much of their cameras and current line is in pursuit of making things a straight up blast to shoot before anything else. I had a really interesting time shooting their red scale stock just a few months back, and I loved it. But now they've cooked up a brand new tasty look. This is Color 92, which they claim is a 400 ISO variable speed color film stock. And based on that name alone, I think we can expect a more vintage vibe altogether. You know a YouTube channel is doing great when it's behind on a film stock review, but every video I've seen so far with this product was presented by other channels that have been sent an early test copy from Lomography themselves. Am I hating? Absolutely not. Get your bag, kings and queens of YouTube. But what's changed since then? That's what I'm curious about in this video. Is Lomography's Color 92 any different now that the color science has been tested and finalized? Are there any variations? Is this channel more unknown and irrelevant? Absolutely. All the more reason to give it a try and be honest. Originally, I wanted to make this video with my newly acquired Giii T2 because what's more 90s than a point and shoot? But this film doesn't have any DX coding, so we went with the Canonet for that sleek, yet still compact experience. You could get away with printing out some DX codes to trick your camera, but since I would be covering an event, I opted out of this idea and attached the Canonet with a flash for that obtainable point and shoot aesthetic. I met up with one of my oldest friends, Daniel, or Forkin' Around as the internet knows him.
Here's your intro.
Who invited me to a little Oktoberfest event being held in Old World. And no one says no to free beers and brats. Not in this household. I was flattered to be invited by him, but first, who goes to an influencer event without some liquid courage?
Sorry about your shoes. No, they're perfect.
I only have Stella in the fridge, but that's almost Germany, right? This shot is heavily underexposed, and clearly I didn't use the flash here, but we'll touch on that later into the video. The event was rad. The Old Town vibes gave me a sense of nostalgia for something I've never actually experienced that left me with an eagerness to keep exploring and drinking every boot in sight. Yeah, there were boots. The DOS boots of my dreams. I love this shot. The candidness of it and the bright red really helps draw your eyes around the circle of colder colors. Right away, I felt very welcomed by everyone at this event. Many different types of content creators and food critics circled the beer garden and reminded me it's not about how many followers you have, it's about how many pretzels you can eat standing up. Let's just say it was a good thing I was the one driving today after Daniel pounded more than a few beers and took a shot out of a winter ski. I guess that's a thing? These shots are fine, a little hectic for me at times, but overall shows the cluster that was this event and the fun we were all having together.
Look at this dog food.
I ended up shooting most of the roll on ISO 200, even though I was using a flash. I chose to do this because I had read a lot of people admit the rating of this 400 speed film was a bit high for its actual native placement, and I'm really glad I did. It also didn't help that today was heavily overcast, but you lean into the environment and the moments you have available when capturing, and I'm happy that I kind of didn't listen to the box on this one.
So we got a poster, Das shirt.
This is my favorite shot of the day. When we first set up the pose, she positioned herself in a more candid, predictable smile, but we opted to reverse this, having her turn away from me, which created a dynamic separation that helped almost remove her from the party going on. There's a feeling of solitude that's more interesting than something that might have resembled typical event photography, at least to me. With 92, the red in her dress perfectly separates her from the background. Red really stands out altogether in most of these images actually, so when shooting this stock, Maybe use this knowledge to your advantage, and you can manipulate your subject and help draw the eye. 92 is said to be filled with cooler tones and harsher grain for that more vintage look. And there is a lot of welcomed grain. For whatever reason, when I think of vintage photos, I think of a warmer, almost 70s orange and brown tone. But I have to admit, I'm a fan of this product, and these shots really do look like they're right out of some 1998 photo album. Maybe on a warmer day I could have found a better use for it. Here's a sample my buddy Alex took of me with 92 back in Bombay Beach for comparison. But since he did shoot this roll at 400, sometimes the look did come out a little less than appealing for what was intended, even in direct sunlight. So if you can, I'd recommend shooting this stock in warm environments to really allow the deeper shadows a chance to shine, and maybe change that ISO to a 200 instead of a 4. But I'd also recommend checking out the Wiener Dog races if you're local and ever get a chance to visit this event. Seriously, I have no idea what's happening. I love it. And just like that, Daniel's attempts at kidnapping me had failed, and it was time to return home.
Well, we did it. We Oktoberfested. There were shot girls, as you call them. It was excellent. It was a time. It was German.
All in all, I was stoked on this experience and the people I was able to share the day with. I'm thankful for their hospitality and the networking. It was cool. I mean, I wasn't even supposed to be there, yet they made me feel like I was. But mostly, other than the images, I'm thankful for this new apron.